to tell you, Frank, is a very difficult act to follow. That was very inspirational, and I have to agree with you that gravity is horrible. I think that's one thing that you learn as an astronaut. You worry about going to space, you never worry about coming back from space, and trust me, it's just absolutely horrible. You don't like it, you just don't realize it because you've never been out of it. So it's a valiant fight that we fight in the aerospace industry to overcome this force. Pat asked me to come do a spotlight talk and talk a little bit about the role of professional societies, and in particular the AIAA. And I was chatting with someone last night, and I realized that, because the gentleman asked me the question, what's going on at AIAA, and I started to go through the litany of things that are going on, and it struck me at that moment that the professional society industry, if you will, is going through the same kind of transformation that we're going through in the space industry, with a lot of changes going on. The aerospace industry has been evolving over the years, and professional societies need to continue to evolve to keep up with that so that we're meeting the needs of our constituents, which are basically you in the room. So I'm going to start kind of general and give you a little bit of history about professional societies, and then narrow it down towards the end of my small talk to about what AIAA has been doing. But you think about it, professional societies in the technical world were created 50 to 100 years ago. AIAA is 50 years old, but it was actually created as an organization from two other organizations that had been around for several decades before that. And these organizations were created, whether it's AIAA or SME or ASHE or pick your acronym, and there's a lot of them. They were created when a bunch of people got together to share a common interest in a subject. So in our case, it's aerospace. We had a rocket society and an aeronautics society form astronautics and aeronautics. And so it's the community coming together to share that passion, to share that interest in what's going on. And if you think about the world 50, 60, 20 years ago, professional societies were the main way that you could stay connected into what was going on in your industry, in that area where you had a passion. In our case, it's the technical community that we're doing the science, the engineers, the technical people. And so that was your main source of information. That's where you connected with your folks. That's where you found out who's working on what computational fluid dynamic technique, or who's working on what widget on the engine, or who's working on the latest airfoil or wind tunnel test technologies or whatever. So that was really the way to stay professionally connected, as well as with your friends. And so what's happened since technology has been changing faster and faster and faster, and that impacts all of our lives. So that impacts what you might or might not want to get out of a professional society now, because what's happening now is if you want to find out what's going on, you can just Google, and you have to decide whether you're going to trust the answer you get, but the information's out there, right? And so the role of the professional society has to change and evolve in order to deal with this reality that now people can connect in ways that are outside of just your community that you hang out with in your professional society. And so one of the interesting things that I've noticed in my 3 years at AIAA when I'm out and about in the community is when I ask people, hey, what do we do that is the most relevant for you? What are the things that you really like that we're doing? The single most answer that we get the majority of the time is, we love the daily launch. How many people in the audience get the daily launch? If you're an AIAA member, you get it, right? So people find that really valuable, because what is it doing? It's actually filtering all of the noise of the internet in a way that allows you to, in a snapshot, and with a very valuable, your time is very valuable, and it minimizes the amount of time you have to figure out what's going on in the rest of the industry. So professional societies' evolving role, and all of the executive directors of the professional societies, we get together and talk at our own little conferences too, and we're all wrestling with this, but one of the valuable roles I see for professional societies going forward is not only just curating the knowledge of the community, doing the peer-reviewed journals, collecting ways for the technical community to stay together and understand what everybody's doing, but also filtering the knowledge and the information into valuable snippets that people can digest who are busy doing other things. So that curation and then that filtering, because with the internet comes a lot of power of information, but also a lot of noise. So that's definitely something that professional societies are going to be doing in the future. And then you look at how, one of the things that we've been struggling with at AIAA, and we took this on as a governance project, is the way that we communicate is changing as well, and the way our communications inside the network of AIAA are set up, and the way we're governed with our members is a 50-year-old model. And so those of you who are AIAA members, you'll be hearing a lot about our governance changes that we're going to be moving forward to make sure as an organization that we can be keeping up with the industry and strategically looking around at all of the new emerging areas of the industry and make sure that we're keeping abreast with that we're engaging with those parts of the communities, that we're inviting not only the technical parts into our AIAA fold, but as well as an organization we're addressing the policy issues. One of the things I want to see us do more and more about is work with our brethren, the CSF, the AIAA, the Space Foundation, name your acronym who are interested in aeronautics and space. How can we work together as a community of professional and other societies to make statements that are more impactful or helpful for our policy guys? Because one of the things that we don't do well as a technical community is intersect with the policy guys, because that's not a logical place. And we are very logical people. And so we have right away a personality problem and a communication problem, because they're speaking some language and we're speaking some language and we speak to each other. So we don't naturally go into those areas. But professional societies should be engaged, I think, in at least making ourselves available more to the policy communities. Hey, we're here, we're a resource. Something like AIAA, I view us as the neutral ground. We represent the profession. We have members in academia and government and industry. We have corporate members. We have individual members. We have domestic members. We have international members. We have scientists. We have engineers. We have technology people. We have people who are doing program management. So we have the whole swath, and that gives us a really good neutral platform to be able to answer questions and give information about the technology and how it should influence a policy, or how a policy influences technology development. The whole UAVs in the airspace is a perfect example of that. So we need to be doing more of that, and that's one of the things that we're looking at. And that's really important. The other thing I would like to see us doing more of, which we haven't gotten the capacity yet because we're transforming all this other stuff, is telling a little bit what Frank was talking about, is communicating to the public the value of the aerospace industry, talking more to the outside our community about what we're doing. We do cool stuff. I mean, we are the most cool community out there. I mean, it's just hands down, right? And so people love what we do. People are fascinated by things that fly. People are fascinated by things that go in space. And it's we have a really powerful message, and we need to be pushing that out there more and engaging with the public and making them understand how important this industry is, and as well use that to excite students. If you're talking to a first grader, a second grader, a third grader, eighth grader, a ninth grader, they're fascinated by things that fly, and so using that as a hook to pull students into STEM. I think we've totally got the market cornered on that. So these are things that professional societies, in particular AIAA, need to engage more in, and we're working on these things. It just takes some time. So it's really, this is a great industry, and there's a lot of things that we can do working together through professional organizations to further the agendas in these areas. Now, we have our challenges. You go back to the transformation of the industry. There are things that are happening in the nonprofit world, in the professional society world, that are challenging. The transition from students to YPs. It's very hard to convince young professionals why professional societies are important, because they can form their own communities in LinkedIn or the chat rooms. And so why should you connect to your professional societies? Well, for those of you who are young professionals, let me take a moment to explain that to you. The network is really important. Professional societies provide you with a network. It's how you stay connected to your community. All of you who have gone from one job to another job, how many times have you called a friend and say, hey, what's going on over here at this company? Is there anything interesting? I'm looking for something in this area. Or, hey, have you somebody over at this company, and can you connect me with them? We're about 1 degree of separation from almost anybody in the industry. And so having access to that network is really, really powerful. Leadership development. As a young person, you come to professional society, you get a chance to have opportunities to lead members. And believe me, leading members, people who are doing this as part-time, voluntary, is a lot harder than leading someone who you have direct control, more or less, over their future. So leadership in a professional society is a little bit more challenging, so that's really valuable. And access, of course, to the curation information and other of us. So these are reasons why our young professionals should engage in professional societies, and it allows us, those of us who are more seasoned, I consider myself seasoned, we can help guide them and mentor them and and grow them so that we can secure the future of our industry as well. So that's one of our challenges. There's a lot of for-profit companies doing conferences, and that's something that's been a main sort of revenue stream, if you will, for nonprofits, because even though we're a nonprofit, we still have to balance our balance sheet every year. We can't take a loss or we'll go out of business just like a regular industry. So that's a challenge for us. Open access is a challenge for us in the nonprofit world with some of the rules coming down about free journals and things like that, because that's another revenue stream for us. So these are some of the challenges that we look at, but I don't think any of those challenges really fundamentally change the nature of the things that professional societies will continue to do. So it's the curation, developing our young leaders into the seasoned professionals so they in turn can carry that on, advocacy for the industry as a resource for how technology and policy intersect, as well as outreach to the public. So these are the things I think that professional societies should be doing, and you'll see us doing more and more of at AIAA. So thank you for your time. I hope I've had a chance to get us back on track. By the way, Tom Irvin and David Arthur are here from the AIAA as well. If you raise your hands, please. So if there's something that I said I missed as far as what you think AIAA should be doing, talk with myself, talk with Tom, talk with David. We are always looking for ideas. We're looking for things to experiment with. If there's something you think we're not doing and we need to be doing, tell us. If there's something that we're not doing well, that we need to be doing better, tell us that as well, because we're definitely in data collection mode all the time, and we want to make sure that we're meeting the needs of the community. So thank you very much.